All right, today we're talking about the bullying and behavior reporting and validation webinar. So this is the end of year reporting for this purpose. So the additional step compared to what we talked about in March is going to be that certification and submission to Maine DOE. All of the resources that we're talking about today are available on the MEDM support webpage. We are on the Maine DOE website under data and funding, MEDM support. On the MEDM support webpage, there is a really great resource for reporting bullying incidents and behavior incidents. There are certain incidents that overlap and are reported twice. There are certain incidents that are only reported in bullying, and then there are certain incidents that are only reported in synergy. This will tell you, this flow chart will tell you where to report any incidents that are occurring and if you need to report them in both. The only instance that requires that an incident be reported in both bullying and behavior is if there was a substantiated incident of bullying and the incident removed, and the consequence of that bullying incident was that the child was removed from their educational setting for 50% or more of their school day. So other than that, incidents of bullying are reported in the bullying reporting system, and incidents that remove the child from the educational setting for more than half of their school day are all reported in synergy. So there's only an overlap when the incident is both of those things. Well, we're going to start by talking about the bullying report. All of the resources we're talking about today are available again on this student data entry and reporting page. That matrix that we were just looking at is available on the student data entry and reporting under Synergy manual entry. There's the behavior manual entry resource for reporting student data in state Synergy. So it's under the Synergy resources. We are going to break that out once we move into Connect, so that resource will maintain. That resource does also include how to enter incidents into Synergy, but it does also, it's the only resource that currently includes this behavior matrix that we were just looking at. So if you're looking for that, behavior manual entry is where you will find it under Synergy manual entry into the Synergy system. All of the reporting requirements that are specific to any bullying incidents are listed under bullying reporting system in NEO module. There are no guidance documents on the student data entry and reporting page for how to submit bullying incidents. All of that is listed in the module in NEO. In order to submit or review the bullying reporting report, you do need to have bullying reporting system access to the module in NEO. If you do not have access to that, your superintendent will need to submit an access request form on your behalf. And in order for you to have that process, you do need to have an active staff assignment in NEO staff. So once you're in NEO, you are going to navigate to bullying reporting system. It is in the top bar there. And once you're there, you will see this big long list of information that of when you're reviewing quarterly data, October 15th, January 15th, April 15th, and then all of the certification of this data needs to be in by the 30th of June for the entirety of the school year. So this is going to encompass all incidents that occur from the beginning of the school year until current and up until June 30th. Definition of bullying is also available on this resource. A reasonable person would expect to have the effect of physically harming. All of that is listed here. Placing a student in a reasonable fear or physical harm or danger. Those are incidents of bullying that need to be reported. Intimidating or hostile educational environment, interfering with a student's academic performance. Those are all considered bullying incidents as well. And so based on perceived or actual characteristics. So all of those things need to be met, and you would be reporting a bullying incident. At the bottom, this is all scrolling down the same page. As you're scrolling down even further, there is a report and review certify of substantiated incidents of bullying. It's a bit hidden, but if you notice the click here is in blue. It is a link that will take you to where you will find the ability to submit incidents of bullying and review and certify the report. Once you select that link, it will take you to this page where you'll be able to see the number of incidents for the SAU that you have selected. If you have multiple, you will need to do it per SAU that you are reporting for. Creating a new incident is done by selecting Create New Incident. That would be where you would input any data that you have currently. So if you've collected the information but have not submitted it to Maine Department of Education yet, this is where you would come in to enter an incident. And then as we move into the end of the school year and have to have this report certified and submitted to Maine DOE, the school summary is where that will happen. So you'll be able to see the overall number of incidents that occurred, and that is where your superintendent will be able to come in and certify the report. When submitting an incident, this is the list of questions that you're going to be asked and need to be submitted. So there is the date, the school where it happened, what was the nature of the incident, what were the actions that were taken, and what were the consequences. So all of those things need to be submitted. And once they are submitted, they will be on this report as a incident number of 1, if you have 1 incident that was reported. And so you can see here that by school, the number of incidents will be listed and then the total district at the bottom. Once everything looks accurate on this report, superintendents can come in here and hit that review button down at the bottom and it will be certified. That's the behavior report. Any questions about the behavior report? All right. Or sorry, the bullying report, my bad. Looking at behavior, saying bullying, or saying behavior. All right, let's talk about the behavior reporting then. All of the resources for reporting behavior incidents are available on the student data entry and reporting page. There is the behavior matrix available in the Synergy manual entry. Again, that behavior manual entry form does include that matrix that we had at the beginning of this presentation. Synergy uploads includes any data dictionary information. If you're uploading data from your student information system into Synergy, that will provide any of the codes that will be moving. And if you are building the files on your own, that is where you also find that information. There's also that manual entry. A lot of districts I know are entering incidents directly into Synergy. This report does have reporting instructions at the bottom of the page. Under student reporting instructions, there is a behavior link for a PDF that does include instructions on how to get to this report. So if you would like to be able to use that, go ahead and find that resource on student data entry and reporting. For behavior data, all of the data originates in usually a local student information system, or it could be in someone's brain and they are reporting it directly into Synergy. So either an upload is occurring from your local student information system, or someone is directly inputting the data into the state Synergy module, into state Synergy system in the discipline module. So once that data is in Synergy, there will be an hourly ETL that moves that data into the student data report, which we are going to get into for behavior. Any changes to any data that you're seeing on NEO student data reports, including the behavior report, do need to originate from, any changes need to originate in the state Synergy system. So if you're seeing something that is erroneous, make sure you're going back to Synergy and making sure that Synergy is up to date. You can update your student information system as well if you would like to make sure that the two are consistent. But if you do not have a plan to upload that data to Synergy, it will not get into NEO. So you have to make sure that that Synergy step is present in order for the data to in the report to update. Locating the behavior report in NEO, you would navigate, sorry about that. In NEO, you would navigate to student data, student reports, and the behavior certification report is available there. In order to get to this report, you do need to have student data access, and that is going to be requested by a superintendent on your behalf so that you can get access to that module. Access is only provided to anyone that has an active staff active staff assignment in NEO staff. So make sure that if you do not have access to student data, that you're asking your superintendent to provide you that access. In NEO, student data, we're going to navigate to student reports. And then in the big long list of reports, it's pretty close to the top because alphabetically it is the second letter of the alphabet. behavior certification, and then behavior details. Behavior certification is going to give you the aggregate counts of incidents that have been reported in Synergy, and the details report is going to go into the student counts of pull out each of the students that are making up those counts in that certification report. So if you are seeing something that doesn't quite add up on that certification report, you can go back to the details report and see the students that are making up those counts to make any changes that are required. On this report, you're going to get a number of incidents by type. So you will see any counts that have been reported. There is a view details report to link over to review any students making up that count. And this is the report where your superintendent would be able to come in and certify and submit to DOE. Linking into that details report, the details report will list out those students that have been reported. It will show you the resolution, duration, resolution type, incident type that was reported. These are all, again, coming from Synergy. If anything is erroneous here, then please make sure that you are going back to the Synergy system to make any of those updates. You can search this function to make sure that all incidents have been reported. You can export if you would like to send it to any principals or anyone who's reporting behavior incidents to ensure accuracy as well. I do recommend as much as possible prior to your superintendent certifying this report that all of the data gets reviewed and is up to date as much as possible prior to that certification, because once it's certified, it is locked. So any changes that would be made in Synergy are no longer coming through. So at this point, it is very important that you are communicating with your superintendent to make sure that they are aware that if they are certifying this report, they need to verify that the data are correct in the report. As a note here at the end, all behavior incidents must be reported for the 25-26 school year. This does include incidents that date back to July 1, 2025. So we last fall, we were talking about not reporting or not collecting the first two quarters of behavior data and bullying data. However, we did indicate that those incidents would need to be kept track of so that when we were ready to collect that information, it was able to be reported. So any incidents of bullying or behavior that occurred back in September, dating all the way back to July 1, 2025, are required to be reported for the current school year. So those are going, even though we weren't collecting them at that time, it is required that the data are entered and part of the end of year certification. As a note as well, Synergy is scheduled to be closed on June 30th, 2026, which means that all behavior data that originates from Synergy has to be entered into the Synergy system by that time in order to be reported. So if you have incidents, then it is very critical to get them in to Synergy by June 30th. And so you can get a head start by getting them in as much as possible up to this point, and you'll be all set by the time we get to the 30th. That is all I have for today. If there are any questions, please feel free to use the chat. If there are no questions and we can close out and questions comes up after we have our meeting today, please feel free to reach out to medms.support@maine.gov or give them a call, 624-6896. All right. I'm seeing all kinds of thank yous and thumbs up. I think we are all set for today. Have a great rest of your day. The recording will be posted as soon as possible, and I will see you guys next week is our next webinar to talk about special education exit and then not graduation. ESSA demographics. So we'll be another cadence next week. Thanks, guys.